You have to find a coach that resonates with you. And there's a lot of different coaches out there in the world. My philosophy is intense and positive. And when I was a women's basketball coach, the more intense I got, the more negative I became. You ever know people like that? The more you turn up the pressure, the more negative you become. And that's how I was probably from 20 to 25. Richard used to come watch me coach. You probably saw all 300 games I coached at Riverdale. And I was really, really intense. But the more intense I got, the more negative I became. And I was coaching one summer with a great coach, and I just watched how the kids responded to him. And they loved playing for him, and they would work harder. And I noticed he was really intense, but he was really positive. You know, and I said to him one day, I said, man, I really like your coaching style. And he said, nobody said when you got intense you had to go negative. And he said, you need to embrace that word and. You be really intense like you are, but be really positive. So with adults, what I have found is I tell people I don't throw clipboards anymore like I did with a basketball coach, or throw things, or, you know, what I have found that really works is here. You want to be challenged, don't you? Yes or no?
Yes.
You want to get out of a static state. You want to grow. Your mind wants to expand. You want to build your business. And what I do is I challenge you. I challenge you to get rid of excuses that you're making. I challenge you to think at a higher frequency. I challenge you to see what the top real estate agents in the country are doing. And I will not let you get in a static state. Because I want you to think. The reason I have people that I've been coaching for 3, 4, 5 years, like Greg's been with me 3 years, is because he knows I will keep him in a dynamic state. You follow me here? And so there's only 3 states you're in. You're either dynamic and growing, okay, which means you're on fire, you're excited, you're rejuvenated. And I just came back from Florida, so I'm more rejuvenated today than I was last week, right? And I've been getting me some vitamin D for the last 4 or 5 days. But I want to live in a dynamic state. Because what follows dynamic is static. So you grow, 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 and then you reach a static state. And static, let me give you some other words for static: stuck, in a rut, bored, been there, done that, no enthusiasm, no excitement, no energy. Listen, you sell enough homes, trust me, don't think that static is for lazy people. I coach people making $5 million a year that are bored out of their minds. Don't think that static means lazy. Static means you've done it for a while, and you've done it so much. Why did I retire at Riverdale at 31? I was bored. I was at the peak of my game. I walked away because I was bored. You follow me? I'm like, what else can I do? There's nothing for me to do here other than what I've already done. And I wanted a bigger challenge. I wanted to be in a dynamic state. So I want you to think of your real estate career, or where you're at today. You're either dynamic and growing, you are static and plateaued, or you're entropic. What does the word entropic mean? And no, I did not pay very good attention in biology, so don't think that, I studied science that well. Because some of the days like, man, you get all your stuff from science. I mean, it's a state. You know what's related to all 3 of those states? Energy. Energy is related to all 3 of those states. When you have little or no energy, you're in a static state. When you have no energy, right, you're entropic. And entropic is disintegration. That means I'm going downhill. You follow me here? So your real estate business right now is in one of those 3 states. Now here's the deal. The more dynamic it is, the more attractive it is. Okay? And when I say attractive, that means I want to do business with you. I'm interested in you. I want you to represent me. It is dynamic because I want some of that energy. The houses are commodities. You do understand that, right? No matter how nice the house is, somebody else has got a nicer one. I have bought 4 houses in my lifetime, and I'm 40 years old. The average person will buy between 4 and 7 houses in their lifetime. Every house I bought has been bigger, and no matter how nice it is or how much I custom designed it, it still ain't got everything I want in it. So when a person tells you, Richard, go find me the house of my dreams, it's got to have 100% of what I want, I set expectation. I said, look, if we can get you to 80% of what you want, you're going to be happy. Even my new house doesn't have 100% of what I want in it. Right? I live on an operate that, hey, I'm not trying to get to that. If I can just get 80% of what I want, I can live with 20% that I don't want. That's in everything I do. I don't get to do 100% of what I love doing every second of every day when I'm working either. If I can get to 80% of what I love doing every day, that's pretty good, isn't it? And so for you, what state is your business in today? Now, why would a person let themselves get to a static state? So think about this. I'm going to New York City on this weekend because I'm doing a media tour on my new book. This book right here, Everybody Needs a Coach in Life, which thanks to some of you was an Amazon bestseller. Thank you for buying that, by the way. We sold a lot of copies of this thing already, and it became a bestseller on Amazon. So now I'm doing a media tour, which means this country boy is going to New York City, right? And so I'm in Florida, and I called my trainer, and I'm like, man, I got to get in the gym this week. I got to get me some stuff in because I'm going to be on TV, big time TV, right? Like Fox Business and CNBC and Good Day New York. And I said, more than anything, so I get there this morning at 5:30, and I said, more than anything, I need my confidence high. I need my confidence high. What are you really selling at the end of the day? See, you may tell me you're selling houses. But here's the deal. Anybody can sell. I could sell a house without a real estate license. Do you think that? I can walk around the house and say, here's the bathroom, here's the bedroom. It's got a beautiful lot. Love the subdivision. What are you really selling? Energy, confidence, outcome, right? Relationship. That's what you're really selling me. Well, if you're in a static state, do you think I can pick that up? Yes or no? And what I mean by this is when I'm around you, do you think I can detect if you're in a static state? Yeah. I can detect if you're stuck in your life. My 4-year-old daughter can detect if I'm present or not present with her at the end of the day. If a 4-year-old can pick up, do you think a buyer or seller can pick it up? Yes or no? Yes. So if you're bored and stuck and unhappy and miserable and in a static state, do all those things sound attractive to the market? No. What I want somebody to represent me on what we call is the largest transaction of our life, right? We say that. This is the largest financial transaction of your life. Does everybody believe that you should have a professional representing you on one of the largest transactions of your life? Yes or no? Yes. That's what I would tell people. I believe every person deserves the right to have a professional representing them when they buy or sell or build or finance real estate, right? A professional. And professionals in a dynamic state, okay? So what we're going to get into today is this. I want you to write these 3 things down, okay? Because I'm going to have a little fun with this. And then we're going to get into kind of some shifts that I think you got to make to have a big-time business. I have real estate agents that I'm coaching that told me this. One of my agents told me this. He said, Coach, I made more money in the first quarter of this year than I did in the first 10 years of real estate. Okay? So I've seen real estate agents that we've taken that were doing what I call little baby stars, trying to get to 1 or 2 deals, all the way up to agents that were already doing 30 or 40 deals that were getting to 100 deals. You follow me here? And they're growing, and they're expanding, and they're breaking through that ceiling. So there's 3 things I kind of want to frame this as today, and I want to have some fun with it. Is number 1, we got to figure out a way to get people to the circus. You ever been to the circus before? Okay? We got to figure out how to get people to your circus. We got to get people in the tent. Okay? This is called lead generation. How many people would like to have 3, 4, 5 times the amount of leads you're currently getting? Qualified leads. Not crappy leads. Not fake leads. Real leads. Real people. As my daughter says, Daddy, I'm a real human being, okay? And I'm like, I get that, sweetheart. I get that you're a real human being, right? So we don't want I don't want crappy leads. No, here's the deal. You think this is unique to you, but it's not. I get crappy leads. I put out a lot of stuff on Facebook. I do podcasts. I do shows. And we generate leads. You understand? Just like you do. Some of those leads are people who don't have any money. They don't have 99 cents to buy a download. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, they're not qualified. And then some people that I think would never be qualified will sign up to get a big coaching program. So I never assume about a lead. Do you know that my house, when I personally sold my house, that the agent that represented the buyer on my house, we listed at $579, it sold for $585. The agent that represented the buyer went to the office and there were 21 unclaimed leads on Memorial Day weekend. Not one agent from the office called any of them. And a person that wanted my house was one of those leads. So she calls them. On Sunday, she starts going through every one of those leads. And they say, we want his house. Can we see it on Memorial Day? Most agents are at the lake, playing around, goofing off. And that agent says, absolutely, you can see it on Memorial Day. They went, they liked it, they offered above asking for the house, and they bought it. Now, she picked up not only representing them, she picked up representing them on sale of their house, representing them on buying my house, and she picked up their kid's house, all by calling those leads. So here's my rule. I never make an assumption about a lead. You follow me? I never make an assumption about a lead. We call every one of them. I don't care where it comes from. We get leads from other countries. Because every time I think this ain't going to turn into anything, it's a person that says, sign me up today for $5,000. You understand what I'm saying? And I pay it all up front. I'm like, man, you never assume, right? But the first problem most agents have is they can't get enough people to the circus. And that's the leads that you're doing, okay? So I'm going to talk a little bit about how you get more people to you, okay? The second thing is once we get them in the circus, we got to have something to sell them, right? And we got to have a reason for them to come back. Now this is critical. Most agents, 98% of agents, never call a customer back once they put them in a home. Doesn't that sound silly? How many people are guilty of that? Raise your hand. Be honest. You put somebody in a home and you moved on to the next one and you never called the one back that you just put in a home. Now, why is that a real problem in the real estate business? I told you I'm 40 years old. I've already bought 4 houses and every house has been bigger than the last one. What if you represented me on all 4 of those? On the buying and the selling. You understand what I'm saying? I also buy short-term real estate, long-term real estate, commercial real estate. So what if you got all those deals? You understand what I'm saying? Not only that, the average transaction in real estate should be worth 5.7 referrals. Write that number down. So once we get people to the circus, we got to get them to do what? Come back to the circus again. Except we want them to bring friends back to the circus. You follow me here? So not only could you get a person's business, what if you got all of their referrals too? But it's not going to happen when 98% of agents never call a customer back once they put them in a home. See, I don't look at this as I'm coming to do one thing and speak for Greg because he's in Monster Producer and I really like him. I look at it as what? There's 5 or 6 people in this room who could be in my Monster Producer coaching program. You understand what I'm saying? There's 5 or 6 potential people in here who want more. When I leave here, I go to the next place and do it again. And then I go to the next place and do it again. You follow me? I don't look at it as 1. I look at it as 6. You follow me here? I look at it as 6 opportunities. And that's a real problem. I worked in the furniture business with the guy who owned Ashley Furniture once. And he said, do you know how much money the average person will spend on furniture in their lifetime? And I'm like, no. He said $75,000. Now go back to the furniture you had in college. Remember that crappy furniture you had? And then you went up to your first little house and you had to do what? Go get some new furniture. And when we moved in this new big house that we have now, we tried to use all of our old furniture in the new house, you know what I'm saying? And I wanted it to work so badly, but it didn't work. You understand what I'm saying? So we had to go buy all new furniture. You follow me here? So I can see how a person would spend $75,000 over their lifetime. And then he got real serious and he leaned in and he said, Coach Burt, do you know how much of that I want? All of it. But I just don't want $75,000. I want their kids and their cousins and their aunts and their uncles. I grew up in Woodbury, Tennessee. We had one furniture place, Paul L. Reed. Paul L. Reed made millions of dollars in a little town of Woodbury because everybody got their furniture from him. Does that make sense? And then when it was time for me to get my furniture, my mama took me down there and got me furniture at Paul L. Reed. You follow what I'm saying here? Well, I need you to think like that as a real estate agent. I need to get you out of this mindset of I'm going to sell somebody and then I got to go real hard and go work and go get another one. I need you to slow down. And I need you to be unbelievably good with the one you got right now. You understand? Slow down. Take time. Dig in. Move the needle. So when they leave, they bring other people with them. Too many real estate agents windshield sale. Everything's out the front window. You know how much money is back here in the rearview mirror? I got 100 people right now paying $5,000 a year to be coached by me. That's $500,000 of revenue. But that ain't even close to how much business we could get out of those 100 people. We ought to be getting 6 referrals out of every person. We ought to have 600 people paying $5,000 a year. You understand what I'm saying here? Slow down, optimize the relationship, and dig in. So first we got to get people to the circus. Then we got to sell them something in a way, right, to get them to come back. And then we got to give them something to talk about. Now, anybody ever study P.T. Barnum? P.T. Barnum was one of the greatest marketers in the world. He could get people to the Barnum and Bailey Circus because he said, we got a 165-year-old woman, you know what I mean? They're going to walk on fire. And it's crazy all the stuff he did. I don't recommend all the stuff he did because most of it was very unethical. But he knew how to get people in the tent, right? He knew how to get people in there. But here's the deal. Once you get them in there, you got to give them something to talk about. Now, what do people typically talk about after a real estate transaction? Same in the mortgage business. What do they typically talk about? So there's only a couple questions that are going to be asked after you do a transaction. Number one, how satisfied were you with that transaction? That's what other people are going to ask. So you used an agent at Keller Williams. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much did you like it? If they say 1 to 4, they didn't like it at all. That's actually called a detractor. And a detractor did business with you, but did not like it. So what are they doing? They're telling everybody. They can't wait to tell people, right? Now they do it on social media. So now they're telling thousands of people. Just ask United Airlines. You know, what was funny is I saw a post the other day that a person was posting on Facebook. It said, my boss is going to be on United Airlines flight 276, seat 17. Drag him off the plane, right? I thought that was funny. Y'all didn't think it's as funny as I did. Takesha, did you write that? So my point is this. Once you get people there, if I say 1 to 4, you ought to ask people this. If you're not asking your customers this after the experience, you should. On a scale of 1 to 10, how satisfied are you with our service? If they say 1 to 4, we didn't like it. If they say 5 to 7, it was okay. If they say 8 to 10, they loved it. What if they say on a scale of 1 to 10 is a 15? What are you looking for? 5 to 7 referrals. Are you understand what I'm saying here? So at the end of every experience, if you don't have any engagement with these people after the transaction is over, then the problem with the business model of real estate agent is you got to go get it again and go get it again and go get it again. I want every deal to be 6 deals. So I got to slow down and be real good at the 1 deal I got. You follow me here? So think of it just like that. How do we get people to the circus? Now, how many people are getting enough leads? I very seldom hear a real estate agent going, what? Hey, I am. Leads coming out of my ears. So I want you to remember this. The purpose of any business is to create a customer and show a profit. If you're breaking even every month, I hate to tell you this, but your business is not successful. Successful business means I run my business, I pay me what I think I'm worth, I pay my staff what they're worth, I run all my expenses, and I still have money left over that I can then reinvest. You understand what I'm saying here? And if you're not running it like that, then it's not successful. Making it or getting by is not successful. Okay? Just making enough money to live is not successful. Making enough money that you have money left over after you've done all that. And having money to reinvest in your business. So the first problem most people have is they don't have enough leads, and they don't have enough leads because they don't have enough strategies. So when an agent comes to me, I said, tell me how many deals you want to do this year. Well, I want to do 36, or I want to do 48, or I want to do 72, right? And the first question I'm going to ask you is, are you getting enough leads to do 36 deals this year? And they always say what? No. Then I'm going to ask you, how many strategies are you using to get your phone to ring with a qualified person on the other end of it? Right? And I force you, give me your number one strategy. And what I mean by strategy is, what do you do to generate leads? Everybody follow me here. Okay? And you're going to show me, well, I do these 3 things. And then I'm going to ask you the $1 million question, which is what? Dr. Phil used to ask this question back when he was not crazy. What did he used to ask? How's it working for you? See, you wouldn't be coming to me if you was making, right? See, the people come to me have 2 problems. They ain't making enough money, or they're making so much money they don't know what, now they don't have a life. They don't see their family, they don't see their kids, they don't have time. So that's all 2 problems people come to me. Look, I need to make more, or I'm making so much I need some balance in my life. That's the 2 problems people come to me with. You follow me? Well, most of them are skewed what? I ain't making enough. I got to get my revenue up. So here's what first thing I'm going to do as your coach. I'm going to look at your strategies, and I'm going to say, look, you got 2 strategies, maybe 3. Maybe you're living off referrals. Maybe you're doing a little bit of social media, but it's not even enough. Maybe you're hitting your database a little bit. Maybe you're calling your past clients. But what you're doing is not even close to enough to do what? Drive enough leads to close enough deals to make the money you want to make. Everybody follow me here. Can everybody agree we got that problem, yes or no? So you can't get enough people to the circus because you don't have enough strategies. Now, a strategy is a specific, intentional move that you make to get that phone to ring. So how many people follow me on social media? Anybody in here? Thank you for that. And if you're not following me, you should, because I put out a lot of cheese on the mousetrap. I want you to think about what your cheese is. I give away free videos. I give away blogs. I write articles. I give away motivation. What is all that? It's just bait. All I'm doing is pulling you in. I'm pulling you in. Then I say, hey, why don't you come to a class and sit in on a class for free? I'm getting you in the door. Once I get you in the door, I say, if you think I can help you, why don't you sign up for our coaching program? So what I do is I jab with value. I give you something. Then I give you something again. Then I give you something again. And then I say, now you need to take action. And every fourth time I ask you for something. So Richard, I'm only going to give away, there's only so many times, you know, I tell somebody the other day, there's only so many times you eat at Golden Corral for free. You know what I'm talking about? And then you got to pay for the buffet. Right? I wasn't saying it to you, Richard, specifically, you know. Me and him go way back. We probably ate Golden Corral a few times, didn't we? So my point is, I give, and then I ask you for something. But most agents don't give anything. Most agents, I sold a house, here's a sold sign, I'm putting it in a yard, I'm representing this, and I'm watching that, and I'm going, what do I get out of this? Because if I don't get something as a consumer, what am I saying? It actually does nothing for me to see you post that you sold somebody else's house. You understand what I'm saying? And I know a lot of people do it, but I'm looking at that going, okay. What if every time I signed a big deal, I put on Facebook, I just signed a big deal? What are you thinking? Yeah, maybe. He's successful, but you're probably maybe saying, okay, good for Coach Burt. See, when I post things, I think about you. Everything I post, I think about you. I run it through a filter. Is there something in it for you? Not for me. Even if it's something about me, I want to make it about you. You follow me here? So to get more people in the door, we got to have more strategy. And what the problem is, we're not practicing enough things. Okay? So we're maybe using social media, but we don't really know how to use it to drive leads. We don't know how to be people of interest online. We're just using it because other agents are doing it. So we're kind of copying what other agents are doing, thinking it's going to work for us. Everybody with me here? Always think about the consumer. So if you want to post something about a house you just sold, tell a cool story about the house you just sold. Tell a cool story about the people you sold it to. Don't just say, well, put a sold sign up here, and because there's nothing in that for me. Now, a good story I like. Does that make sense? So right now, I want you to stop, and I want you to tell the person beside you, how many strategies do you think you're actually using to drive leads in the door? How many do you think you're using? And if you can name them, name like 1, 2, and 3. Okay? Ready? Take off. Name the first 3 you got.
Hey, for cash buyers. For cash buyers.
All right, stop right there. Here's what you should be able to tell me. My number 1 strategy is this. My number 2 is this. My number 3 is this. My number 4 is this, right? Now, if you tell me you're really good with people, so I heard you say that you guys do events, you know, great. So here's if I were coaching you, here's what I'm saying. Pull out your calendar and show me how many events you got this quarter. And that's just one strategy. It ain't your only strategy. It's one. I'm using 10 simultaneously, in conjunction, in collusion. When I think about the word collusion, I think of 2 people sitting in jail together, so I don't like that word very much. But I'm using 10 strategies simultaneously. Like I'm doing live events, and I'm doing heavy social, and I'm hitting my database every week, and I'm doing client events. You see what I'm saying? And I'm calling a hit list every week, and I'm working people in my pipeline every week, and I'm doing strategic partnerships with people. And I just keep adding because I don't know which one's going to work. You follow me here? One week this one works, and 1 week this one, right? And so when I look at a real estate business, I'm like, you don't have enough strategies, number 1. Whatever you're doing, you need to multiply it. And are you aligning your time with your best strategy? So if you tell me I'm really good face-to-face, if Adam says, man, when I get in front of people, I close deals, what am I going to ask Adam? How many face-to-face you got this week? My number 1 financial advisor I coach, right now, one of the top one makes about $600,000 a year, and he takes 25 face-to-face a week. He's never in the office. He's never on the phone. You know what he's out there doing? Face-to-face, baby. Who's he meeting with? Current clients. Past clients, potential clients, referral clients. Because when you get him face to face, he sells something. You follow me? So what I see people do is they say, well, I'm really good face to face, but then they spend all their time on the phone. Or they're really good face to face, but then they're office emailing people all day. If you're a socialite, you need to be doing more events. You see what I'm saying? You got to marry your best strategy with what brings you the most money. My best strategy is this right here. When I get in front of people. So you wouldn't tell me to sit in my office and email people all day long, would you? So you got to marry your time with that, okay? We're going to get into that. So how many people can honestly say, I don't have enough strategies, and I know I don't have enough strategy, right or wrong, okay? That's why you don't have enough leads. And some of the strategies you've been using, see, as a basketball coach, I would go in at halftime and I would look at what was working. We charted it, right? And we looked at probability. So that means I ran these plays, and these worked, and these didn't. So the ones that didn't work, guess what I didn't do? I didn't go back out in the second half and go, hey, let's run those again. You know what I said? Throw them out. Well, I'm looking at my business and your business going, these 3 things you're doing ain't working. I saw 2 agents prospecting at the Murfreesboro Airport one day. I was flying out of the Murfreesboro Airport on a little bitty plane that big to Mississippi to speak, and there's 2 real estate agents in there handing out business cards. And I'm like, what are you guys doing here? We're prospecting. And I said, I didn't know this was a high-traffic airport. You know how many people go out of Murfreesboro Airport during the day? 3. And they're mostly students from MTSU that don't have any money. You understand what I'm saying? And those agents went over there and sat over there all day long and handed out business cards to 3 people and thought they were busy. And they went home that night and said, sweetheart, man, I prospected all day long. You see how silly this is? So I would say that ain't working. That strategy ain't working. So it takes a real mature person. The reason you really need a coach many times in your life is because I can look at your business and go, what you're doing ain't working. And it ain't worked in the last year. And you're still doing it over. And it's not magically going to work in quarter number 2 or quarter number 3. We need to shift gears, okay? So the first thing we know is we got to get more people to the circus. We got to give them something to sell, a reason to come back once they get inside. And we got to give them something to talk about. So think about when people leave the experience, what do they say? What do they say about you? Blew my mind, unbelievable service, over the top, above and beyond. A closing gift is not going to do this for people, guys. You can't just say, well, I give everybody a closing gift and they love me. You got to get deeper. You got to move, right? You got to really move past this, okay? So I'm going to give you some shifts to make in your business, okay? Because Greg wanted me to talk about this. What if I told you, here's the good news. You don't have to torch your whole business. You don't have to throw it all out. There's just some small shifts you can make in your business to have a big year. Now, a good plastic surgeon never makes more than 2.2 millimeters of change, and they never make more than 7 changes. They make small shifts. Everybody with me here? Okay? Small shifts. So I'm going to give you some shifts that I think most real estate agents need to make, okay? Shift number 1. First thing you got to do is you got to move out from being just a realtor to being a business person. You are not just a realtor. Why are you not just a realtor? You got to get out of introducing yourself as I'm a realtor. You're not just a realtor because I can get a realtor where? Anywhere. Anywhere. You are an entrepreneur. And an entrepreneur is a person that takes lower level resources to higher levels of productivity. What if I told you at age 31, 32, I had no idea the difference between an asset and a liability? I was a high school basketball coach. I got paid the 25th of every month. I didn't know anything about money. All of the money that I made has happened over the last 5 years of my life. You understand? I went down to the bookstore and bought a book called How to Grow Your Financial IQ and started understanding that balance sheets, profit and loss, difference between assets and liabilities. You understand what I'm saying? I self-educated myself because we didn't talk about that in my household. My mother didn't teach me those things. I didn't need them. Now, the reason it's important is because most real estate agents don't do what, Greg? They don't run their business like it's a business. They live out of the kitty. You know what that means? You live out of the money you make on the closings. You follow me? You don't know how much money you're bringing in. You don't know how much your expenses are. You don't know how much profit you actually got. You don't run it like a business. So I want you to start thinking yourself as a businessman or a businesswoman that owns a little business, that wants to be a big business. Everybody follow me? You got to start seeing yourself as an entrepreneur. And here's the best part of this, is you are a businessman or a businesswoman with a very special skill set. Don't miss this. This is critical. If you're just a realtor, now here's the good and bad news of real estate. 67% of people use the very first real estate person that contacts them. Now that's a bad thing in my opinion, because that means I can use any old bozo that one day called themselves a realtor. Now, do we want a bozo representing us on the largest transaction of our life, supposedly? Yes or no? But most of the general public will do that. But here's the deal. That's only bluegills. Blue marlins don't use the first agent that contacts them. See, here's the theory. The more sophisticated the buyer, and sophistication is typically tied to what? Knowledge and money. The more sophisticated the buyer, the more they start asking this question: who is the best agent at Keller Williams? Everybody with me? The average Joe out there in the world will just use the very first person that contacts them. Sophisticated buyers use specialists, and a specialist is a great negotiator. What if you became known as the #1 negotiator in Rutherford County, and you could get more money on a transaction than any other agent in Rutherford County? You understand what I'm saying? So you got to start thinking of yourself as not a generalist, but a specialist. The reason you come to me is I can do things other people cannot do. So you got to start asking, what is my special skill set? Why do heart surgeons make more money than general practitioners? Because they're specialists. See, I'm a specialist in taking complicated growth and making it simple. I'm a specialist in getting a group of people towards some dominant focus that they can't get to on their own. I'm a specialist at bringing structure and systems and process to the people I coach so they make a lot more money. Everybody with me here? I have a very special skill set that I've worked my whole life to cultivate. You have got to start thinking of yourself like that, because at the end of the day, what are you really selling? You're not selling the house. You're selling your skill set. And if you don't know your skill set, guess what? I ain't going to know what your skill set is. So I'm looking at all these agents and I'm sitting there going, I can't tell a dime's worth of difference between this one and this one and this one. And remember the old days where everybody put their picture in the newspaper and all the agents were right beside each other? I don't know who convinced people to do that. The newspaper did, because that was not a good strategy. Why don't you just put me versus every other coach in the world on the same piece of paper with no differential whatsoever, and don't even tell what it is we specialize in? See how dumb this is? See, so what you've got to start thinking of your as is this: money changes hands when problems are solved. Money only changes hands when problems are solved. So what's the problem that you're really solving? See, my first problem when I bought real estate was I was living in a crappy apartment in Murfreesboro called Colony House. You guys know where Colony House is? Y'all lived there, didn't you? Yep. And I thought, man, we made it big because we're living at Colony House. This is how small my think was at that time. I'm 21, 22 years old, but then I get the job at Riverdale. Now I got a professional job that I got to be at every day, 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. And now I got a problem, because my problem is I got to get up early in the morning and be professional, except somebody on top of me in my apartment complex was running a business. And I don't know what kind of business it was, but it was real loud and it happened at night. Y'all just figure it out, okay? And so, Mark, you know what? I got a problem because I can't sleep. So here's the deal. When I got a problem, I'm living in an apartment, I got a problem, I start asking this: what? I'd like to have my own first house. $119,000 condo, Stonehenge. What'd I ask? Who's going to represent me on this deal? And I was so young and naive, guess who I used?
First person to contact.
67% of people do what? Use the very first person that contacts them. And I did. I just used some agent. Didn't even know him. Did a decent job. And I never used him again. And every time I bought a house, it got bigger. You understand what I'm saying here? See, if he'd have really locked in with me, he'd already sold 4 houses. He already helped me buy and sell 4 houses. You follow me? But he didn't lock in with me. He just kind of left out in la-la land. So what problems do you really solve? Problem is this: I just had a kid. So then I buy a second house. Then I move up to a bigger house that I got on the cheap during the recession. Then I moved out of that house, built a custom house, and then And then I got married. And then I had another problem. My wife comes to me one day and says, what? You know what? This was a great bachelor house for you, but this house is not made for a family. Now I got a new problem. And what do I start saying? Who can solve this problem for me now? Which means what? Who can get me the most money on this property, and who can represent me the best on my new property? That's what I start asking. I don't start saying, who do I use? I got a cousin that sells real estate. I wouldn't let him represent me on a real estate deal because he don't know anything about real estate. You understand what I'm saying? So my point to you is, number one shift is money changes hands when problems are solved. So when you're listing or trying to get a listing appointment, when you're trying to represent a person on selling their house, what are you trying to articulate to them? The reason you want to go with me is because I've got a very special skill set, and I can solve your problem better than anybody else can. That's all selling is. You follow me? That's all it is. And when you get that, selling is not hard. You know why? Because there's a lot of problems in the world. Every broker has the same problem of every real estate company I have ever worked with in the world. How do we get our agents to prospect on a consistent basis? How do we get them to follow up? I was with Gary Ashton last week speaking at a big event, and he said they're creating 500 leads a week. Agents won't follow up with them. Spending $500,000 to get those leads. Is that a problem? Yes or no? You know how mad I'd be if I spent $500,000 and I couldn't get you to follow up? That's his problem. What's most brokers' problem? Can't get agents to do what they're taught to do. Can't get them in the office. Can't get them to prospect. Can't get them to quit taking 2-hour lunches. Can't get them to quit goofing off. Can't get them to quit not showing up when it rains. There's a one for you. So my point is, these are brokers' problems. That's why brokers hire me. If we could get all these agents to produce at a much higher level, we all make more money. Everybody with me? So what are your problems? So think about this. I'm solving a very specific problem. That's number one, okay? That's the first shift, okay? Now, your unique ability solves my problem. Now, why is this hard for us in the South? We're taught not to talk about ourselves, because that's what? Bragging. If you don't tell me what makes you different than everybody else in Rutherford County, how do I know? Is it my job as the consumer to try to figure out what makes you different, or is it your job to tell me? So here's what I say. Based on my unique past and my unique experiences, there's 2 or 3 unique abilities that I've created that can help you. Everybody with me? That sound like I was bragging? Okay, now I was going to Jersey once a month. They have a different sales style up there. It's very colorful language, and they're very direct. And that was good for me, because I've lived in the South my whole life, and when I went to Jersey, I had to get tough. You understand what I'm saying? They sell tougher. It's like by the end of this meeting, you and I are going to be doing business with each other. That's all there is to it. Or somebody will break your legs. Okay? And I'm like, okay, let's go, right? Now, in the South, we are very weak in how we sell. We flirt. Oh, I'd love to work with you. If you need anything, let me get my business card. If it's convenient with you, just call me. And what we do is we supplicate. And that means we put ourselves in an inferior position to the consumer because they got the money. Are you an expert or not? If you're an expert, then what? Act like an expert. How does an expert act? You got a problem, and I can solve this problem better than anybody else can. And I've spent my whole life cultivating this skill set to solve your problem. You don't even want to talk to anybody else when we get done with each other. Act like an expert. The reason real estate agents don't get treated like professionals is because most of them don't act like professionals. They don't carry office hours. They don't show up. They don't prospect. They want to kind of just be out there in the world floating around, and then all of a sudden they want people to treat them professional. Does that make sense? Every reputation I've ever earned in my life, notice I said earned, I earned it by the way I acted. Everybody follow me? When I act like a professional, people treat me like a professional. All right, number one. Number two, you got to shift how you see your work. You got to shift how you see your work. Now, this is a problem for a lot of people. See, you think you get paid in money. I actually think money is a byproduct of the value you create. Okay? I think when you're really, really good at what you do, money will chase you all the way to the bank. Everybody with me? The bigger the problem you solve, the more money people will pay to solve it. When you become really good at solving bigger problems, they pay you more money. Okay? But that's not the only way we get paid. How many of you did a real estate transaction, and at the end of the transaction, there was a real meaningful moment where that consumer said to you, man, I couldn't have done it without you. This was amazing. Did you get paid when they told you that? Yes or no? Yeah. So I want you to get out of your mind that you get paid in just money. Money is man-made. It's man-made, run through a cotton thing, created. It's just money. You understand what I'm saying? It has value attached. What's $20 to one person? Listen, there'll be one person that'll take 20 and invest it today, and there'll be one person that goes and buys a fifth of liquor with it. You understand what I'm saying? It's just a piece of paper. So you got to get out of your mind that the only way you get paid is in money. You get paid in love. You get paid in appreciation. You get paid in affirmation. You get paid in referrals. And you get paid in money. You get paid 6 ways. Everybody with me? The better you become at solving problems. Listen, the great real estate agents in this market, they're just really great at solving problems. That's their skill set. Some of them are better at regulating emotion than others. Some have deeper networks than others. Some can negotiate better than others. They're really getting paid to solve problems. Okay? Now, the reason we don't know this is because when you go to real estate school, they don't force you to find your unique ability. They don't say, Richard, what are you really selling? Richard goes, I don't know. I didn't have any classes in this in school. Of course he didn't. We don't have any classes in finding our talent. I keep going till I get down to, here, this is what you're selling, Richard. When you go out and talk to people, this is what you need to say. This is specifically what you need. Everybody follow me here? And now what if our kids learn what their unique abilities were very early in life? And then they just honed and refined those. See, I started coaching at 15. I've been coaching people for 25 years. Do you know how more refined you become at it when you do it for 25 years, day in and day out, over and over and over? You understand what I'm saying? So you have to see work as the distribution channel for your talent. It's not just a job. It's not just a means to an end. It's not just let's go try to put a few deals together. It is you distributing your God-given talents to the world. And the world is rewarding you in the form of love and money and recognition and affirmation and referrals. Everybody follow me here. That's the way you should see your work. It's a much bigger thing than just selling a few houses. It's got to become who you are and what you believe in. Okay, you're distributing your talents through your work. Okay, number 3, and this gets a lot of agents. You got to have a shift in how you see time and spend time. I want you to think that there is a high value of your time and there is a low value of your time. Over here is what's called a dominant focus. And a dominant focus is a single, tangible outcome you would like to drive in a 12-month cycle as measured in 30-day windows. Okay? So the agents I coach, I force them to tell me, what is your number? Do you want to do 36 transactions, 72 transactions? Do you want to do 20 million? You understand what I'm saying? Now, why would I ask that?
So that you can bring it down to the
That's right. So I break it down. Here's what you got to do every 30 days. And I need to know where you are in relationship to your number at any time. Right now, where are you in relationship to your goal? I'm not focused on what you collect, I'm focused on what you sell. What do you sell every 30 days? You collect on it in the future. So if you tell me, let's just take a number, 36 is your number. I want to do 36 transactions this year. And you can figure out your volume based on the average sale. I was in Seaside, Florida this weekend. You know the average sale of a house in Seaside is $1.7 million. You could sell 12 houses in Seaside and make $400,000 a year. You understand what I'm saying? Well, in Murfreesboro, it ain't $1.7 million. It's $179,000. You understand what I'm saying? Still solve problems. One just solve them for much, right? You know the number one strategy in Seaside to get a person off the fence, by the way? The top agent's one of my friends. And I asked her, what's the best strategy to get a person off the fence? And if she thinks the buyer is balking, she will say this, well, maybe you're not ready to have a house in Seaside. And that challenges their ego. And those rich people will do what? I will pay cash right now for this house. Maybe you need to live in Panama City. You see what I'm saying? What she does, she challenges them. Maybe you're not ready for this, right? And she says, man, those rich people get all, oh yeah, and they buy, I'll give over price for this to show you I got enough money to buy it. You see what I'm saying? She's still solving the same problem. She's just doing it for people with a lot more money. Right or wrong? So once you give me your number, my number is 2.4 million. That means I got to sell $200,000 worth of coaching every 30 days. Okay? That's my number. That means I got to sell $200,000 every 30 days. We just started a new cycle. You follow me? Now, this is where it comes down to you. Is I got my big number, but you can't sell all that real estate in one day, can you? But what can you do today? You can do something that moves you closer to your number per week and per month. What that is called high value activity. High value activity is specific, intentional activity to generate new business. Specific, intentional activity to generate new business. Why is it important that you know your top 3 strategies? Because that's what you need to be doing. So I always take my planner with me to show people I practice what I preach, is I map every day out. So you see how focused my day is? What time I woke up, 5 a.m., what time I finish, about 5 p.m., shows you every appointment I've got. This is where all the money is right here. These are my targets. So I have a hit list of people I'm going after, a farm club of people I'm trying to close, biggest customers I'm loving on, and I do this every day. You see how focused this is? Now, what am I making? I do this at night. I don't do it the day of. So I sit down every night and I map out my next day's high value activity. Now, why would I do that? Why would I do that?
Be purposeful.
Yes.
That way you can jump on it as soon as you wake up.
That's right. Look, I know what, this is it, baby. I've already made up my mind where the money is. I go into the day with a plan. How many agents do you think map out their days? I don't care how many times you go through Bold or how many times you go through this and they tell you should do it. You need to make number call. What's the actual number of people that do it? It's not enough to know it, right? Knowledge is not power. It's only potential power. So what I'm deciding that I got to imprint in you is I'm deciding what my high value activity is every day. And I'm going, I got to do 3 things every day to generate new business. Everybody follow me? I do 3 things every day to generate new business. And I decide what my 3 things are. 3 a day, 5 days a week, 15 a week, 60 a month. I'm doing 60 things every month to generate new business. You follow me here? Now, throughout the course of the day, I nudge people, bump people, invite people, include people all day. What am I trying to do? Get people to the circus. You follow me? Everywhere I go. This guy's following me around with a camera to do a documentary, and he's going to go with me everywhere I go, and it would turn into a little documentary TV show. And you'll get to see what I do every day. But you know everywhere I go what I do? I include people. Hey, come to this. Come see me here. Come get involved in this. Are you following me on this? What I'm doing is I'm pulling you into the circus. Everybody with me? Okay? That's what you need to be doing. Because I see real estate agents, they eat with the same friends every day at lunch. They go to the same places. They talk to the same people. You got to sell to strangers. You can't grow your business selling to everybody you know. You got to sell to new people. So what I make up my mind is, this is the highest value of my time today. And when I get pulled off, because here's what people say, well, my schedule, what if it's just all crazy? How do I get back on schedule? You go do it and you get back on schedule. You with me? My day's not going to go any different than yours. There's going to be something come up today I don't expect. So what? I deal with it and I get right back to my schedule. I deal with it and I get right back to my schedule. Hard schedules. Everybody with me? All the top real estate agents have what? Hard schedules. That means they're prospecting 2 hours a day every single day. They're on the phone. They're going places. They're meeting people. They're not there in la-la land, okay? So high value versus low value, okay? Now, number 4. How do I get you to think at a much higher level than what you're currently thinking at? I call it a higher frequency. Do you think it has to do with the people you spend time with? Yes or no? Okay? So I spent 3 days with a guy who built a real estate company and sold it for $8 million. By 40 years old. You know how he thinks? Big. He don't think small. We're having constant conversations. How do I scale this? How do I grow this? How do I build this? For 3 days, we're just sitting there talking about how to make something bigger. You understand what I'm saying? We're not talking about how to do one more transaction. We're talking about how to do 100 transactions. You follow me here? Most agents, their biggest goal is to get to 1 or 2 deals a month. And what's happening is your thinking is so small, I got to get you operating at a higher frequency. And to get you operating at a higher frequency, I got to get you around people that think bigger than you do. You understand what I'm saying here? So I do believe like gravitates toward like. I do believe association breeds assimilation. I do believe that the size of houses you're representing people on right now is indicative of the size of problems you're solving for the people you hang around. Everybody with me? You know, I noticed when we sold our house, there were only 5 houses on the market that sold over $500,000 in Rutherford County. Nobody owns a luxury market in Rutherford County. That's a shame, isn't it? You know how sick it makes me for outside real estate firms to come into Rutherford County and represent all the high-end buyers? You telling me there's not somebody in Rutherford County that can handle a high-end deal? You understand what I'm saying? Why is Sotheby's in Murfreesboro with no Sotheby's office? Why do people here not have enough confidence in a person to say, look, somebody at Keller Williams can represent me on $1 million deal? You see what I'm saying? Nobody said, I'm going to own that space there. So here's what I'm telling you. If you are attracting a lot of little minnows, a little blue marlins, blue gills, it says something about the size of the people you're hanging around and whose problems you're solving. You follow me here? And if you want to make more money, you got to solve bigger problems for people who have more money to spend. But that's not going to happen randomly, isn't it? Right or wrong? Now, I know some people say, I love working with first-time home buyers. You know why you love working with first-time home buyers? Because they listen to you. I would rather work with a high-maintenance buyer where I make a commission on $1 million deal than a person that just runs around and does what I tell them to do. You see the thinking? See how the thinking is different here? When people say, I love working with, there is a gratitude working with a first-time home buyer. But at some point, you need to graduate, right? To work with people on second and third and fourth homes. You need to graduate. And so I know it may feed your ego a little bit to work with the person that does everything you tell them to do, and it's easy on you. None of the big money is easy. The big money I get into, it's not easy. It's complex. I got to solve bigger problems for people. They expect a whole lot more. And there is a difference between high maintenance and high expectation, right or wrong. I don't mind you being high expectation. High maintenance is a whole different ballgame. Okay? So let me finish you off with this one. And it feeds us into this, a shift in the size of problems you're solving. So I want to say it to you this way, and then I got maybe just 1 or 2 minutes and I got to go to the next place. You can wake up and fish for bluegill, or you can fish for blue marlins. You can fish for bluegill in Percy Priest Lake, or you can fish for blue marlins in the Gulf of Mexico. Everybody with me here? And that's who you target and who you're around and who you're associating with. Okay? This is a shift. See, at first, when I first started my little business, you know who I would speak for? Wouldn't even anybody that would pay me. It anybody that'd feed me. Hey, feed me some chicken and I'll be there. That's a true story. Then they say, well, we'll pay you a little bit of money. Now I wake up and go after $15 billion mortgage companies. You know why? Still solving the same problem. They can just pay me a whole lot more money for it. Somewhere along the way, I began to figure out that our paychecks were in direct comparison to the size of problems we're solving for the size of people we're solving them for. Does that make sense? Most real estate agents wake up and do what? Whoever calls in. Hope that phone rings today. Hope that lead's a real person. A real human being on the other end. I hope that lead is somebody, you see what I'm saying? That's how they operate. If I was selling real estate in Murfreesboro, here's what I'd do. I'd go to the top 50 most influential people in Rutherford County, and I'd say, when you buy, sell, build, finance real estate, what have I got to do to earn your business? And I'm going to stay in your life until you give me an opportunity. I'm not going to ask you one time. I'm going to be here over and over and over and over. I would target the people I wanted to work with. You see the difference? Versus just going to the office and hoping the phone rings. I would target who I want to represent. And then I would figure out what I have to do to earn your business. What do I have to do consistently to earn your business? If you make these 5 shifts in your business, what do you think will happen? Your business will pick up. Your business will pick up, okay? But if you don't, you know what you're going to keep solving small problems and playing in the blue. You're going to play in the little bluegill land. And that's okay for a little while until you get good. And then you got to grow up at some point. I hope this has been valuable to you guys. Greg, you've always been one of my favorite people in the world, man. You guys are very lucky to have a guy like him who has the faith he has, who has the the stick-to-itiveness he has. You know, I've watched him grow in his life and in his business, and man, it's been a joy. It's been a joy coaching him every year, and I'm thankful for you. And I'm thankful for everybody in Rutherford County. Listen, I travel all over the world, guys, and I don't care where I'm at and how cool it is. It's always good to come home to Murfreesboro, you know, with good people, all right? I'm going to be here for just a minute. If you want to purchase any books, okay, you're going to stay behind? Okay, so Takesha's going to stay behind because I got to go speak at the electric department. We're going to give them some energy or something, you know? And, but if you are interested, some of you are here, okay, I feel like an altar call right here. I'm not going to hard sell you. Some of y'all are here and you're not playing at the level you need to be playing at, and you know it. And I don't care if you start with buying a book, or you come to one of my workshops for free, or you get serious and you get into a coaching program, okay? I'm not going to hard sell it. It's not my potential, it's yours. So if you start saying, look, I want to be in a dynamic state, and I know that little bald-headed pit bull can get me there, then here's what I would tell you first. Just come to a class. We got Monster Producer this week. I teach that's a program Greg's been in for 3 years. Most people are doing 30-40% increase every year that are in my coaching programs. That's a lot more money if you hadn't figured that out. I got agents making $300,000 and $400,000 more a year than they're used to making. You follow me? They'll change your whole life. Change your kid's life, change what you drive, change where you live, change your kid's future. So if you're interested in any of that, just see Takesha, and she will just get you to come for free the first time, and you can experience what it's like to be in a coaching program at no obligation. Fair enough for you? And if you like it, you can sign up. Okay? This been good for you? Thank you, guys. God bless you. Thanks for having me.